Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you some uses of the pyramid or roof structure in Fortnite Battle Royale. This is a piece that is really underutilized. It really isn't useful for that much, but there are a few things that you can do with it that I think are actually quite helpful in the fights. All of these things are kind of situational, like it's not something you're going to be using all the time or even every single game, but when these situations do arise, it's nice to know about this, and it's nice to be able to use your roof or pyramid piece for these tactics. A lot of people come into my stream and suggest that I use the roof or the pyramid piece as a ramp, and this is something that's very effective for combat pro players because they can go from walls to the ramp or the roof piece in one button click rather than two. But I play on Builder Pro, so I'd much rather have my pyramid as just a pyramid or a roof, whatever you want to call it. But these players still insist on switching it to a ramp. That way you can have one ramp for going up and one ramp for going down. But I think that these tactics that you can do with the roof or the pyramid piece are much more helpful than just being able to go up or down easier than you would be otherwise, because you can just rotate the stairs to do that. So the first thing I'm going to go through is a build that helps you get high ground pretty quickly. This is actually quite weak, so you're going to want to connect this to the other player's base. Ideally, like, this isn't something you're going to be using all the time, but if you do have a situation where you're pushing another player who's kind of built up, you can kind of use this to get the high ground a little bit easier, especially if they don't notice you, and then you connect it to their base, so the fact that it's weak really doesn't punish you too much. And this is to use a ramp, a pyramid, a ramp, and then a pyramid connected to the ramp, and you jump from the first pyramid onto the second one. You then place walls and then jump and place a floor, and then you're pretty high up. And then from there you can use more ramps, do this tactic again, or just you can go from there wherever, but you've gotten pretty high pretty quickly. So that's the first tip. So basically, like I said, ramp, pyramid, and then ramp, and then pyramid on top of the ramp, and then you jump from pyramid 1 onto pyramid 2, and then you place walls, jump, and then place a floor, and then you can place a ramp again, and then keep going. So I'm going to have this play out on screen a few times. Like I said, this is another situational thing, and it is quite weak. If somebody realizes you're doing this and destroys the bottom of the piece, you are going to be knocked down. That's why I was saying you would want to connect this to someone else's structure as soon as you can, or ideally just be using it in a fight that's already connected to multiple things. The next build is if you and another player are ramping towards each other and then you lose that ramp fight. So they have now ramped above you, and from here what you want to be able to do is jump, look up. You kind of have a weird angle, just play around with this and you'll see what I'm talking about. The angle's kind of odd, but once you get it, you get it. But you basically just jump and look up and place a pyramid on their ramp, thus trapping them. And then from here there's a few things you could do. You can wall all around them and then place traps and kill them that way. It's actually very easy. And you can do this in reverse. If you're the person who ramps over another player, you can quickly place walls and trap them. And the spike traps are actually very lethal at this moment in time. As of the time I'm recording this video, they do 150 damage. So if a player has 150 or less health, they're going to die. And you can easily place 2 traps like this. Like, you just wall all around them. You can place 2 traps that go off back to back and automatically kill anybody, because there's no way to have more than 300 health at this moment in time. So you can do this when you lose the ramp fight or win the ramp fight. You can get an easy kill with traps. But back to the pyramid thing, if you don't have spike traps, what you can do from here is just place the floor down on you and then ramp up essentially, and just get the high ground that way and then play around it from there. If another player does this to you, like you win the ramp fight, what you want to be able to quickly do is either edit your stairs or break the ramp. You need to get out of there, especially if they have spike traps. You're going to be dead right away, or pretty quickly. So I would be more in favor of just spraying down the pyramid with my SMG and getting out of there that way. But if you're quick at editing, you could just edit through and kill them potentially before they place any traps. But like I said, I'm not that fast at editing, and playing on console is like a weird delay with editing, so I would prefer just to spray down the pyramid as soon as it's placed with my SMG and then go on from there. This next tip is going to be if you're crossing a gap using floors. So this could happen a few times. In this example here, I'm crossing from one building and tilted to another. You might be crossing from your base to an enemy's base, or mountain to mountain. There's a lot of times where this might be happening. This is something that when you're crossing a gap like this, it's typically going to be a small gap, not a large one. But this is going to help you out if players are shooting at your structures or your floors. And this is basically to place pyramids on top of the floors. So you can double floor, double pyramid, or just floor pyramid. And if you do double floor, double pyramid, it'll be connected in 4 spots, because the pyramids count as their own like anchoring piece. So you'll see here when I destroy it, I can destroy both the floors and it's still connected to the building. And then once I take out both pyramids, it actually starts falling. So this just allows you to quickly cross a gap while also connecting your thing in 4 ways. And if for some reason you can only do one, you can connect it in 2 ways doing floor pyramid. So this, you don't lose much time on this. If you were to cover like 4 across, like you would lose a lot of time doing that. But doing double floor, double pyramid, you can do it pretty quickly. It does burn like quite a bit of mats, but if you are really concerned about your life, or if you're crossing a gap that really isn't that large, this is quite helpful. And then also you can use the pyramids as cover if you have to. These final 2 tips are pretty self-explanatory. I think most people will know them. And they're also very simple. There's really not much to go into with either of them. So I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. The first one is to use the roof piece to get through windows in certain locations. This isn't going to help you all the time. There's only certain windows that you can go through. The ones that I know about that happen the most are there's windows in Tomato Town you can get through. There's windows in the grocery store and Retail Row. And then also quite a bit of the buildings in Tilted have windows that you can go through using these pyramids. You can't go through every window in the game, but there's only certain windows that you can go through, and it's nice to be able to take advantage of that when you can. Like the largest building in Tilted, most of the windows you can go through, and I basically just navigate the building on the outside using those windows. That's actually quite effective. A lot of players try to camp around the staircase, and then you can just go out a window, ramp up, go through another window, and then come up behind them, and they usually don't know what's happened to them. Also, with certain changes coming to the map at like random times each season, they change the map up a bit. There might be new buildings added where you can take advantage of this more often. So it's something that's good to know and good to have like the ability to do so if you need to. And then finally, this last one is I'm sure everyone knows about this because a lot of people do it, is if you're building yourself into a 1x1 for whatever reason and the enemy's shooting at you from above, you can place a floor on top of you and then place a pyramid or a roof piece above that floor, basically giving your roof extra health. And what you want to do from here, like a lot of people will just spam that forever. But what I would do is you spam that until the opponent has sprayed out and they have to reload. And then you edit out and then you try to ramp up to them or do something from there. Basically, you're just buying a little bit of time for them to waste their ammo and then you edit out and go up to them. So, like I said, the last 2 are pretty simple and most people probably knew about them, but I thought I would include them in this video. The main 3 were the ones that I wanted to go into. The ramp, pyramid, jump floor thing, the trapping people with the pyramid, and then also the double floor, double pyramid to cross gaps. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you found it helpful or you learned something, please do remember to drop a like on it and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I live stream Fortnite Battle Royale every single day, and occasionally I post videos like these. Thanks for watching.